let us get some perspective about environmental scanning. So environmental scanning, as the name suggests, environmental scanning, there are two different components here, the two different words which are being used here. And in general context, most of you are familiar with this both terminologies. You have studied about the term environment in your school, and I'm able to quickly recall the definition of environment which I had studied in my school, which goes like this, that environment means the surroundings in which we live. And scanning basically refers to doing some sort of a research, finding out facts. So finding out facts or gathering some insights is called scanning. So therefore, I'm sure now you have some perspective as to what this term environmental scanning means. Now, we will, of course, do a ratification of the definition a little later, but first let's try to figure out why a business need to understand the environment or the surroundings or the ecosystem in which it operates. One of the simple answer to this question is because the business performance is highly influenced by its environment, its ecosystem. Just the way a cricket match result is influenced by various factors, similarly, the performance of business organizations are influenced by various environmental factors. If I have to ask you to list out some of the important factors that influences the result of a cricket match, I'm sure you would be able to quickly highlight factors like umpiring decisions, most importantly the pitch, the captain, right? The weather, the crowd, the team composition, the opposition, the weather conditions. All these factors play an instrumental role in deciding the outcome of the cricket match. Similarly, the environment in which the business operates is also made up of such factors. For example, a business gets impacted by the policies of the government. Sometimes the policies of the government can be a great opportunity for businesses. Sometimes the same government policy can hinder the growth of business organizations. So business organizations are highly impacted and influenced by government policies. Likewise, competitors also play an instrumental role. If a business organization operates in an industry where there are only few competitors, then survival becomes much easier. But if a business organization operates in an industry which has cutthroat competition, where there are many players doing similar kind of business, survival becomes difficult. So in simple words, the success and the failure of the business organization is highly influenced by its environmental factors. And this is perhaps what we do in environmental scanning. In environmental scanning, we are trying to understand the business environment of a business organization, the environment and its ecosystem in which it operates, and try to figure out how this environmental factors like government policies, competition, economic policies, geopolitics, and various other factors influences its performance and growth, and most importantly, survival. So the process of gathering insights about these factors, the process of gathering information about these events that impacts the performance of business organization is referred to as environmental scanning. Now, for any business organization to succeed, it is very important that it first critically evaluates, examines the business environment. This is one of the most critical part of carrying out environmental scanning, because if a business organization, without undertaking environmental scanning, in other words, without understanding its business environment without understanding the factors that influences its existence and survivals, commences its business, carries out its business, there are high chances that the business organization may fail if it does not understand these factors and its implication. On the other hand, a business organization which first carries out business environmental scanning and then decides and frames its strategies has better chances of succeeding in its venture. So therefore, in the past, we have seen organizations who have wrongly understood the business perspective because they did not do a critical appraisal of its environment. So therefore, it's very important to first do an appraisal of the environment in which a business operates. I want to give you a brief case study as to what happened with one of the most leading global breakfast brand. I'm referring to a very popular brand which most of you are familiar with. In fact, this brand is synonym to cornflake meal. Yes, I am referring to Kellogg's. So Kellogg's in early 90s, after India globalized itself, considered India as one of the prospective markets and wanted to do business in India. So therefore Kellogg's ventured into Indian market in early 90s and started operating and targeting only those customers who are in metropolitan cities. So their target customers were basically the urban population, and obviously rural population cannot be considered as target market. So therefore Kellogg's did uh, start to roll out its signature products, which included its breakfast cornflake meal, and eventually that was the era, the late 90s or the mid 90s was the era in which people in India started embracing foreign products. There was a perception amongst the customers in India that foreign products are far more superior in comparison with the local brands, in comparison with the local products. There was a notion that if you use foreign products, you're perceived to be uh, having a higher status in the society because only the rich, the elite, used to afford to buy expensive foreign goods. So that was another tendency that people started developing a notion that if you use foreign products, you get a better status in the society. So as a result of all these factors, people did start using Kellogg's for their breakfast, and Kellogg's got tremendous response from Indian urban population. The sales were doing tremendously well, but unfortunately, this performance did not last long. After a period of 3 to 6 months, Kellogg started to see a complete decline in its sales. So what went wrong? Where did Kellogg's go wrong? The answer to this question is something which most of us are familiar with, right? Kellogg's, before launching its signature product in Indian market, should first have done a critical appraisal of the food habits of Indians, which is definitely not similar. I would rather say completely different from that of the Westerners, right? We Indians, if we reflect upon our routine meal plans, you will realize that we have a heavy breakfast in the morning because the duration between our meals is considerably higher. Probably you would have your breakfast at 8 a.m. in the morning, right, and attend your classes, and after completing all your classes you may reach home and then have your afternoon lunch, which would be around 2 p.m. So there is a considerable gap between these two meals, 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. Considerable amount of gap is there, and therefore we Indians generally prefer having a heavy breakfast. And Kellogg's obviously did not appeal to Indian appetite. People after eating Kellogg's started feeling hungry again after 2 hours of their breakfast. and therefore people felt that Kellogg's is definitely not suitable for Indian appetite, and Kellogg's sale started to decline, right? And Kellogg's had to remodify its strategy and then relaunch some of the other products to get going to survive in Indian markets. So therefore, it is very important for any business organization, before it could start doing business, before it launches new products in the market, to understand the customers, to understand the policies of the government, to understand the economic situation prevailing in the economy, to understand the demographic profile of the population. After gathering insights, you will be in a position to know whether your business can survive in a given market or not. But on the other hand, without understanding all these factors, if you straight away start commencing your business, you may have to face a similar situation what Kellogg's had to face in Indian market. So therefore, it becomes necessary for any business organization to first gather insights about customers, gather insights about economic situation prevailing in the economy, gather insights about government policies and its impact, gather insights about the technology, right? All these factors can have significant impact on growth and survival of the business. And the process of gathering these insights is called environmental scanning. So therefore, environmental scanning becomes a prerequisite for any business organization in order to survive, in order to grow, in order to outperform in the market situation. And any organization which does not does it, the chances of failure is much more higher, something which we did see in the case of Kellogg's. So I'm sure now you have some idea about what this environmental scanning is all about. So let's quickly review the definition now, because definition would give you a better perspective about the concept, right? And I have also put in a very interesting quote here, as you can see on the screen, that success always comes when preparation meets opportunity, which means as a business organization, you should always be prepared to face any kind of situation whatsoever it is, right? And this preparation will be possible only if you carry out on a regular basis environmental scanning. Environmental scanning will help you as a business organization to keep yourself ahead of your competitors by gathering important insights by means of environmental scanning. So in the next session, we will again ratify the concept of environmental scanning. We will define it and also discuss some of the other conceptual frameworks. So I'll see you in the next session.